the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour with your hosts, Joe Bob and AJ Appleton.
Touchdown! All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me as usual, co-host AJ Appleton. What's up, man? Nice shirt.
Yeah.
Just realized we're
I'm
both
a company
wearing.
man.
Just realized we're both wearing the F6P shirt.
Yeah,
all good.
Something is strikingly familiar. I can't tell what.
It's all good. All right, guys. Well, right now we are nearing halftime of the Cardinals and Saints, and the Cardinals have finally scored some decent amount of points in the first half of a football game. 2 of the touchdowns were defensive, though, so we're still waiting for that offense to really start firing, but it's looking better right now. Hopkins has returned. We'll get into a little bit of that here in a second, but halftime 28 Cardinals, Saints 14, thanks to 2 pick sixes and another interception by Dalton as well. But before we jump into things here tonight, we will be I want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button, that like button, leave those comments wherever you watch or listen. We appreciate it. And make sure we join the memberships, guys. Go to fantasysixpack.net/plans and join our membership. You get access to the award-winning rankings. Right now, I am number 15 on the season. I believe Nick Spencer's 14. So we got some dudes up there. I believe Dennis is at least in the top 30. There's over 200 rankers, guys. So top 15 and 14 and 30 even, legit. Like it's good. So you guys get access directly to our rankings, the full ranking set. You get access to our DFS projections, our DFS articles, our betting articles. Probably best of all, guys, you get access to us directly to us on Discord. You can ask us any questions you want as far as your lineups and, trade questions, strategy questions, whatever it is. We drop some extra knowledge on there that we don't, display for free on the site, that I don't put on Twitter, that kind of stuff. So go there and sign up for a membership and get in on the action and just make your team better. Get smarter with fantasy football. It's worth it, guys. Trust me.
Are you in this to win, or are you in this just to be a donation?
Exactly. I like that. All righty. So let's get going here with Beer of the Week.
Beer.
All right. AJ, what you got, man?
I myself have a skull-fuckingly good beer known as Double Cannon. Been a while since I've had this one, and got some over the weekend, and cracking one open for the show. It's Double Cannon is the loose cannon, or the double IPA version of the loose cannon by Heavy Seas Beer, for those of you who do not know. And if you're not in the know, I suggest you get in the know, because it's delicious.
It is a very good beer. It's one of my like, so I buy these, more expensive cans, right? But like I buy like the sampler packs because they're a lot cheaper. You get 12 of them for like $20 instead of 4 of these for 20. If you're lucky, 20. So I buy the sampler pack of Heavy Seas all the time. So the double cannon is usually around my house somewhere, but I have a cool one. I saw this in the store today and was like, oh, I got to get this. So it is called, it's from Oliver Brewing Company, Duel of the Iron Mike. Doing a podcast, I figure we got to do it. And the if you didn't notice that, the microphone has, it's like a hop. That's kind of cool. I like that. This apparently won a gold a gold medal or something, cold medal award winner for double IPA at the 2021 Brewers Association of Maryland. So better be damn good. It is a double dry hop double IPA with Citra, Incognito, and Mosaic hops. So
nice.
Let's do it.
Incognito, because they're there, but you don't know they're there.
Ooh, that's it's interesting. It's pretty bitey, actually. I think that's the double dry hopped part of it.
Yeah, probably.
It's weird because it's got that like kind of like dryness and like that bite to it, but the Citra and the Mosaic sort of like balance it back out at the end, like the aftertaste. So it's sort of like it's like kind of like hurts at first, and then you're like, actually, that's not too bad. Yeah, yeah. It's like that one meme where the girl's like, It's kind of what this does. I'll give it a 3 3/4 because it's sort of like I feel like it could be better, but something's missing. But it's all right though.
Yeah, it must be those incognito hops.
Yeah. All right, let's get into things here, and we are going to lead the way with. And I forgot to make the banner, Mike. I'm sorry. We were scrambling on the last second to get to this. I want to talk about DeAndre Hopkins returning. Now, of course, he is playing tonight, but let's just look at how he's doing so far. Already 5 targets, only 37 yards. Hasn't scored a touchdown yet, but I mean, it's interesting because we were, everybody was really hoping to see him and Marquise Brown on the field at the same time. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not going to get that now, at least until like the very end of the season at best. If the Cardinals are out of it, they probably won't bring back Brown, not to risk any further injury. But if they can, climb back into things here, then be playoff bound, then I think we'll see him on the field. But that being said, I mentioned it earlier, right? This offense has really struggled to score points in the first half. I believe the number is 4.8 points averaged in the first half for the first 6 games of the season. That's the lowest amount in the NFL. Now, first game back, they scored 28. Now, 2 of those are defensive touchdowns, but still, that means they scored 14 offensive points. Does DeAndre Hopkins make that much of a difference for Kyler Murray and company to, get this offense back on track for you?
Yeah, I think he does. Now, in the same tone, you do have, a banged up James White, and that's hurt. Sorry, why am I doing this? This is 2 weeks straight now. I do not know names of players anymore. Just listen to Joe's fantasy advice, and apparently not mine.
That's usually me saying the wrong name or mispronouncing stuff. What's going on, man?
What the hell? Why have you infected me with this?
Now I'm just like 100% better than you.
I don't know.
Ouch.
Gotcha.
I will still drink you.
That was like the only thing you had
any day of the week.
Okay.
Cheers. As I'm also drinking a Stone Delicious IPA.
Also, you're drinking 2 at the same time?
Well, I was finishing this, and then I was like, I don't want to put this.
And you're not double fisting?
Oh, my gosh.
It's going to be a show,
folks. It's going to be a show.
No, I wasn't drinking before this either. Also, too. I don't know.
I saw your nose grow.
D-Hop. It's already just large. I'm Italian.
Well, no, from lying. You probably drank before the show.
Oh, he totally did.
I did. What?
I know.
Sarcasm, bruh. All right. Anyway, back to the question at hand here. Yes, James Conner, not related to Sarah Connor of the Terminator Chronicles. He's been banged up and out, so that's kind of had an effect on this offense as well. Kyler just hasn't really looked himself yet this year. I mean, Brown's been good. He kind of brought what we expected him to bring with the downfield mojo, but I mean, D-Hop's his guy. He's got the confidence with him. He's got the relationship and familiarity with him. So I definitely think that this offense can finally start to take off. And, Benjamin, he's no slouch. So, I mean, shit, he might even be better than Connor.
I don't know if I'd go that far. No, I'm not going that far. He did bust off a long run today, but
Sarah Connor. I'm talking about Sarah Connor this time.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding.
No, you weren't.
I was not. I was not.
Nah, Eno's fine. It just, he's a bye week fill-in type of thing right now with all the bye weeks and other injuries we've got, but he's not anybody I'm super excited about. He really didn't do much last week with a good opportunity against a really bad defense. But yeah, I mean, personally, just to wrap this up, like I do think D-Hop really, really propels this offense for many of the reasons you said. Again, like he's a big red zone threat, which is huge. He's kind of turned into like Mike Evans-esque, like to where like he's not dominating like 11, 12 targets anymore. But, he's going to get those contested balls, and that's huge for red zone and scoring, which is something the Cardinals have struggled with this season. So I think it will help them out. It's just really a shame. I was really looking forward to seeing him and Marquise Brown on the field at the same time. And now we're going to get him and Rondell Moore again.
Yeah.
Yay.
Like yourself, if you want to score, have contested balls. Moving on.
Awesome. Which, by the way, Rondell Moore has 2 targets on the game. So not good. One should have been a touchdown. He should have caught, although it would have pass interference, so it wouldn't have mattered. But he should have caught it regardless. All right, moving on here to we're going to be talking about some players to drop. Possibly we're going to be talking about some guys here who have been severely underperforming on the season that you might be, really disappointed with. And, are we dropping them? Are we holding them? Are we selling them? Or what are we doing with these guys? But first, we do have a question. I guess Mike didn't like my banner. I liked it.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought AJ made that banner.
No, that was totally me, dude. Put it back.
What was it? What was it? I'll tell you if I made it. I like that.
I like it. Come on.
I mean,
that was fun.
Well, some of these players we weren't sure if we were actually.
That's where there's a
dropping,
question mark.
Not quite my level of highbrow comedic genius, but it's good.
Okay. All right, let's get to this question here from Dion. Who should I start on defense? Jets, Miami, Tennessee, Denver, or the New York Giants?
Why do you have this many defenses?
They're all on the waiver wire. Just relax. God, AJ. All right, answer.
Maybe it's an IDP league.
Oh, Lord.
No, impossible defensive.
Okay.
Positioning.
Answer the question, AJ.
Mine's Jets.
Yeah, mine's Jets.
Mine is Denver.
Same matchup.
Okay.
Same game. I'm just going against the team that is like bottom of the barrel for all offensive stats. Just about.
You don't think the Jets can ride the hot hand of shutting Aaron Rodgers down to shut Russell Wilson down, considering he's been shut down the whole year?
Considering Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson both pretty much suck this year. Yeah, I concur with Mike.
But I do agree that you can't go wrong either way with that one. I think
that would be my number 2 pick. Would actually be the Jets. So they're right up there. I'm not gonna lie. But I think I just like Denver just slightly.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't necessarily, if out of these, yeah, I'm still going Jets 1. I would think my second might be Giants, because I feel like that could be a low scoring game too. But Jacksonville just hasn't looked good.
Our defense stream-o-matic from Mr. Keith Lott himself has Broncos, Titans, then Jets. So there you go. Broncos number 2 on his list. Titans number 3, Jets number 5.
If the Jets throw it more, I can see that happening. But if they only have to throw it 17 times like they did against the Packers,
Polar Bears.
Yeah. I don't know if the defense scores a lot there.
Please, sweet baby Jesus, no.
AJ, he's answering you. I'm on a bye week, so he's trying to fill his defense. Stop being a jerk, AJ.
No, I'm not.
I'm just kidding, man. All right, let's get to these players who dropped. So what we did is we collected some data, compared it with ADP versus kind of how people are performing right now, and we'll start with some quarterbacks. And so I'll lump these two together, AJ. Russell Wilson, who we just mentioned, and Matthew Stafford. Both of these guys were drafted in the, I'd say, most likely as QB1. Stafford technically was QB 13, but there's a lot of leagues where he was drafted as a QB1. So I'll just kind of lump them in there. Both are struggling. You know, we just mentioned how bad the Denver Broncos offense has looked outside of one game. And the first quarter of last week, it was like, oh, maybe
Russ was cooking.
Never mind.
He ate, had turkey.
So what do we do with them? Let's start with Russ here. Are we just out on him? And you're cool with just streaming guys I mean, let's be real. Jared Goff's out there probably. Well, maybe not, but you can stream some dudes.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Goff might
and Ryan's there because he's coming off a bye. So if somebody did have him, maybe they were needed to fill in. So I'm not necessarily against dropping Russ. I still think that I'm holding him at least one more week. Even though I just said I think the Jets defense will be better than Denver's. But I mean,
so I think that answers your question even more, Dion. Not the Jets. Just kidding.
No,
I don't want to get the Jets anymore.
I think Wilson's he actually showed. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm getting the hiccups. He actually showed something last week. Granted, it was only for one quarter, but that's a start. So, as an owner of Wilson in multiple leagues, I'm worried. I'm definitely looking for either my backups or streaming options, because I'm not happy with them, but I'm not quite cutting bait with him yet.
Yeah, I'm with you. He has severely struggled. The problem if you drop Wilson, right? So yes, he hasn't been performing up to what expectations were, not by a long shot. The problem is if you drop him at this point, who are you actually replacing him with? And when you look at options, at least when I do on most of my leagues, you're struggling with, all right, maybe I'll pick up a Ryan Tannehill, maybe I'll pick up a Matt Ryan or Daniel Jones. At best you're getting maybe you get lucky and you can get a Jared Goff coming off the bye, like you said. Yeah. Maybe somebody got frustrated with Trevor Lawrence and they dropped him, so maybe he's out there. But I mean, he's kind of iffy too. We're not really sure what he is yet. He's had 3 decent fantasy games and 3 bad ones. So I'm not sure yet. So it's who you're replacing him with, who you actually feel more comfortable with, and that's the problem. Yeah, you could try to stream every week, but I think you kind of, and maybe you do. Maybe you just hold Russ for another week, maybe 2, holding out hope, and maybe you stream over him just for now, right? I mean, that's what I'm. To be fair, I actually have Russ in a 14-team league, so I'm 100% not dropping him because there's nobody out there. I mean, I'm looking at I'm trying to think. I don't even know if like Bailey Zappi's out there because I think he got snatched just because it's a 14-team league and bye weeks are hurting people.
Yeah.
So next off here, Matthew Stafford is, we know the massive struggle here with this Rams offense. Outside of Cooper Kupp, literally nobody has performed well for this offense. The offensive line is atrocious this season.
Yeah.
They've got injuries, so it's not totally like
Not all
anybody's
on
fault
Stafford.
here. But is Matthew Stafford somebody that you're willing to kind of pass on at this point?
Yeah, I think I am for sure, and I have him, a couple shares of him in a few leagues too, and kind of in the same boat as I am with my other leagues with Russ, where I'm just looking for something as a spark. In a single quarterback league, and with him being on the bye this week, it's rough to keep him on your roster. But if you can somehow, spin him and get a trade, I'm all for that. I mean, I still think that he's got enough talent around him, and this is a long season, for NFL reasons, but fantasy, not as much. I can't imagine him not turning things around and being better than this. I mean, the rushing game for them has been an absolute laughing stock. Aside from week 1, where Henderson was all over the place.
Yeah.
He just hasn't had help there. Like you said, the offensive line has sucked.
Well, and now Cam Akers is pretty much out. They're looking
Cam
to
Akers
trade.
Cam
Akers is done there. Like they're not using him.
So
it's so weird. I mean, Higbee is actually like useful in fantasy just because he's getting catches, and so anybody in a half or a full point PPR league, it's golden. I mean, he's not really doing anything else but catching the ball for 50 yards every game, but it's working.
Again, I still think
how bad tight ends are right now, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I still think Stafford has something left, but I wouldn't be mad at you if you dropped him. I would try to trade him.
There's nobody taking him for a trade. I mean, he is literally QB 24 right now. It's not working. He's
super flex.
I mean, Jacoby Brissett, Matt Ryan, Daniel Jones, they're all high. Justin Fields is ranked higher than him. Not good, folks. Not good. So yeah, it's time to move on from Stafford, unfortunately. I say, we say Russ is struggling, but he's still QB 16. Not fantastic. Not what you want. But he's not killing you as bad as Stafford right now.
Yeah.
So, do have another question here from Wizzy Jefferson.
All right.
That's an awesome name. So, number 1 question, I'm guessing. I have Swift, Montgomery, Mitchell, Ramondre at running back. Do you guys like the sell high on Ramondre, or do you still think he can maintain? Depends on what you're asking about as maintain. Like, are we maintaining what he did last week without Harris there? No, that's not going to happen. We know how New England likes to, share the load here. Do I think he will take over ultimately for Harris? Yes, I have mentioned that numerous times in my early in the season when I talked about the New England running game in my targets, touches, and trends article that I write every week. Harris was just getting the touchdowns. He was actually getting a lot more usage per snap, but Stevenson was getting more snaps. So like you just expected it to flip at some point. It took an injury to do it, but I think they finally saw what they really have in Stevenson. And I do think that Stevenson probably leapfrogged him. But again, it's the Patriots. We never know. Like New England running backs, man, we've been talking about this for 2 decades. We have no idea what's going to happen. Unless they have Corey Dillon, we don't know what's going on. Like that was the only time where it was like, oh, we know who's getting the ball there. Corey Dillon. Yeah. After that, it was like, who cares? Like James White 1 week. We had no idea.
James Conner. It's James Conner.
Wrong team, jackass.
I know, but I called him James White earlier. God damn it!
I know.
Attention.
I just wanted to call
All
you
right,
jackass.
so
that
my
okay?
thoughts on this. I agree with a lot of what you were saying there. I would definitely sell high on him.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good with selling high.
Yeah. And I would agree with selling high on him, because again, you're looking at Harris being out last week.
And we'll get to this, but injuries. He practiced, so sounds like
he's potentially going to be back this week.
It's supposed to be a multiple week thing, maybe not. So yeah, now might be the time to pounce on a super high return for him. So I agree with that. I'm not going to sell him for anything but like a really good receiver or a really good like running back who might have just had a couple bad weeks or something who could replace him. But you got some really nice running backs.
Yeah, I like your backfield,
especially when Mitchell returns here. And you've got another question here. I got offered A.J. Dillon for Michael Thomas. Would you go for Dillon or keep Thomas?
Depends on who your other receivers are.
We have to know who your receivers are. Michael Thomas he obviously isn't playing this week. We don't know when he's coming back, man. It's going to be a struggle to figure this one out. I don't mind getting Dillon. He's just not really doing anything either. This whole Green Bay offense is sort of just crazy. I just don't know. Like if we're talking about other quarterbacks who are struggling, like Aaron Rodgers was one of them I almost put on this list, but he's another one of those, like he's just not getting it done. I mean, he's averaging 13.5 fantasy points per game. Gross.
Yeah, I mean, I would be interested to know what your other receivers are, and if you're going to do the Ramondre sell high.
Yeah, I think we've got
doing the Dillon. I think this is like a tag team sort of deal.
I prefer to keep Dillon overall just because we don't know what's going on with Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
that would be my preference. But if you've got like massive, needs at receiver, and you can flip Ramondre for another running back, because if you lose Ramondre, and then sorry. So if you
want to,
sorry, I was thinking you're getting Thomas. I don't know why I was thinking that.
Yeah.
So yes, I would take Dillon and give up Thomas as long as you've got depth at receiver. But then maybe flip Ramondre at that point because you just got a running back in return. See if you can get Ramondre for another receiver or something like that.
The trick is to keep discussions going on both of these trades to find out what your best deal is, and then pull the trigger on both, like one right after the other. Because that's going to be your best bet. You're going to walk away and be like, boom, I got Dillon. Like if you can get something more than Dillon for Thomas.
Let's see here. So his receivers are Jefferson, DK Metcalf, Ayuk, Jacoby Myers, and a tight end is Andrews. My weak spot this year has been receiver. That's why I wanted to grab a wide receiver with Ramondre.
Yeah, I would definitely flip Mondre for receiver then, and if just kind of play that, and I'm good taking Dillon on. I still think the Green Bay offense is going to turn it around.
Yeah, I mean the problem is though. I mean, yeah, you're not. AJ Dillon hasn't been a whole lot either. I mean,
yeah, but how long is Thomas? In my mind, is now an injury player.
Yeah, it's been that way for a few years.
Exactly.
So, we got one more question. Lamb Cup. Should I pick up and stash OBJ in 4 and 2? And I would probably have to drop Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't know if I would. I mean, if it was somebody worse than Robinson, who is an up-and-coming player, and the arrow is pointing up for him, we just don't know what we're going to give him OBJ. We don't know where he's going to sign yet. There's a lot of rumors. It could be the Vikings, could be the Chiefs, could be the Rams,
could be the Giants.
I mean, I doubt it. He burned his bridges in New York, but with ownership, I doubt. I have a feeling that's not happening. But still, it's
Possible.
There's just a lot of question marks with him. We also don't still know when he's actually returning. So you'd be stashing him for quite a while, possibly.
We're
So
in week 7. Yeah, we don't have a definitive, but
we don't. So I think you hold Robinson at this point, honestly. But let's move on here to our running backs. That are we dropping your ass? Is the question of the night. And you know what? Look, I get it. Nobody's dropping this guy, but we gotta call out the elephant in the room. Jonathan Taylor. He has struggled, and I know he's been hurt. He missed 2 games, but even when he was on the field, man, he is not performed up to par outside of what, 1 week? Week 1. It's been bad. Yeah. We saw Deion Jackson bust out for a great game in his absence.
Look,
I mean, let's get real. Something's going on, right?
Week,
so,
and then he went down.
Do we think Jonathan Taylor is going to bounce back? Or I got some interesting trade questions with Jonathan Taylor this past week. And even the week before on Discord, actually, on my week 6 AMA, ask me anything. Somebody asked me, should I trade Jonathan Taylor for Josh Allen in a 1 QB league?
Yes.
I didn't know who his other QB was, but my thing was no, honestly. Like, QB isn't, I don't know. To me, it wasn't.
Depends on the scoring. If it's standardish scoring,
of course. Like I always just take it with like it's kind of normal. I'm not going with bonuses and stuff. I'm not calculating all that crap right now.
Yeah,
pretty standard.
You're 4-point better than me.
4-point touchdown passes. 20 or 25 yards is a point. One of those, right? Pretty basic scoring for quarterbacks. I still say no. I still think Jonathan Taylor is with running backs being so bad this year. You cannot give up an absolute, in my opinion, still stud of a player in Jonathan Taylor. I do think this offensive line is going to figure things out. They're going to get healthier.
I hope so.
He's still getting massive volume is the thing. He's still getting like 20 touches a game. That's hard to find. Jonathan Allen, yes. Josh Allen, sorry, is crushing it. I get it. But like, is he crushing it enough for us to go, okay, he's far and away better than, QB 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 that you probably have on your roster? My answer is probably no. Like, I mean, yeah, Brady, Wilson, those guys that you drafted to be those spots are struggling, but we've got lots of guys who are coming up. Tua's coming back from injury, hopefully, and can be good, right, on a per game basis. Geno Smith has been good. Goff's been good. Those guys that are, QB's such a up and down thing. I mean, let's look at last week, right? Who would have predicted Matt Ryan, Bailey Zappi, who else was really good last week? Jimmy Garoppolo, like all these just dudes that nobody has were top 25 overall players last week. I'm not paying. Look, I'm not trading the number 1 running back in the NFL. Still, in my opinion, stats be damned this year. I still think he's the number 1 quarterback. For the number 1 quarterback, not in a fantasy league. This is why we draft running backs ahead of quarterbacks. If you wanted to do it, draft the quarterback first. That's my thing.
I mean, I'm still okay with the trade in a vacuum, but yeah, I would, I would like to know what the other quarterback is that you would have and what running backs they have. That.
I just answered the question in a vacuum, and the answer is no.
No, I'm just looking at it straight up. I'm okay with it personally because I think you can find running backs that are going to have some.
Have you looked at your running back waiver wire lately? It's not good,
Yeah,
man.
it's not good, but you got bye weeks, you got injuries, you got people coming off of injury, you got the fill-ins for those injury players.
I mean, we're praying that
Look at
like
Deion
Malcolm
Jackson.
Brown turns into a thing, or
talking
Kyron
about
Williams
Deion
when he
Jackson.
returns. Like that's what we're looking at, dude. It's bad. It's bad out there. People
If
stash
Kyron
running
Williams
backs.
wasn't going to be a thing, do you really think that the Rams would be dangling Akers out there? If they had confidence
Yes.
in him,
If Cam Akers was a pain in the ass, absolutely. You get
is
rid of
he
negative
a
in the
pain in the
locker room.
ass, or is he just?
But anyway, so
suck?
let's we're getting
I don't
sidetracked. Let's jump into it. So, what are we doing with Jonathan Taylor? Are you actually trade blocking him at this point? Putting him on the trade block is what I mean. And we do have some more
Yeah.
questions. We'll get to you guys in a second. Sorry, I wanted to get through the show a little bit more. You guys are
Yeah.
you guys
No.
are awesome,
Yeah.
but we will get
Dude,
there. I promise.
Bring
guys.
on the questions.
But-
Yeah, let's finish this initial discussion, then we'll jump into some questions. Yeah, I'm okay putting him on the trade block. Obviously you're not dropping him. I'm
No.
okay holding him.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you can get. If you can get something in a running back receiver combo for
Yes,
him,
that's what I'm looking for.
not
I'm looking
necessarily
for-
like a straight up for Josh Allen, again, which I don't dislike, but you have to see the whole picture here. And
Would you do like a Jacobs and a Jacobs and like AJ Brown for Jonathan Taylor? Jacobs is
you
like
gotta
out overperforming like crazy.
yeah.
AJ Brown's been up and down,
he's like,
but still
he was
overall
awesome
pretty
in
good.
game one. Because Devonta wasn't there, and now Devonta's kind of a thing more so than AJ Brown almost. But anytime AJ Brown touches the ball, he
Take it to the
makes
house.
things happen.
Jacobs
I mean, he's
is crushing
so
it,
good,
though, man.
dude. Jacobs has been awesome. I would take that trade
Yeah,
personally because I like those other two players.
yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing that you have to.
That's
look
why I
for.
brought it up. I think that'd
If
be
it's-
a pretty fair deal. And those were just
Yeah.
two kind of cherry pick names on kind of on purpose. But all right, let me see if I can catch up here with the comments. So we were asking Lamb Cup.
Yeah,
He
Lamb
talked
Cup was our
about
last
his
one.
other receivers. And so he said his receivers are, or his team is Carr, and then DeAndre Swift, Jeff Wilson, Damian Pierce, Diggs, Amon Ron, Brandon Cooks, DJ Moore, Gabe Davis, Devonta Smith, Curtis Samuel, Wandell, whatever. What moves could I make? I mean, that's a pretty
loaded. Nice team, actually.
It's a pretty loaded question. It's a pretty nice team.
But I see what you're doing there. If you're trying to,
I think your wide receiver
Allen
3 is sort of
to
iffy.
pair
Devonta's probably
with
it.
Diggs
Yeah,
and
what
Gabe.
was the?
That's what he's doing. He's trading away.
No,
Taylor.
Lamb Cup
Oh, no.
was the one who wanted to stash OBJ. And
for Wendell.
drop
Yeah, that's
Robinson.
right.
I mean, in that case, maybe
I think
I don't hate it
I would-
because you don't need Robinson, but I don't know. I still just not really sure what's going. You need running back depth.
Yeah,
bad. I think there was a conversation here.
Try to flip maybe somebody who still believes in DJ Moore and maybe a Cooks because he's still.
Nobody wants Cooks or Moore right now. Those were guys that we're going to talk about next here. I think you need some running back depth pretty
Gabe
bad here
Davis.
because in a month it's possible that Jeff Wilson turns into a pumpkin.
I still
is the
think,
problem.
I think Devonta Smith could be like as the season goes on. I still think he's going to be valuable.
I like him.
There's a lot of quality mouths to feed in Philly.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of stuff to work on, even though they've the only undefeated team. But man.
Yeah, that's tough. I still think you gotta find a way to get deeper at running back. It's tough because it's hard to find running backs in trades because they've the good ones are not going anywhere. People are keeping them. You're gonna have to pay a lot for them. So you're gonna have to try to find somebody who you just kind of believe can bust out of a rut here. Maybe you target like a Travis Etienne or something who maybe starts, the arrow's kind of pointing up. So maybe somebody doesn't quite believe it yet. Maybe you take on the AJ Dillons like Wizzy was trying to get here. And the other one who, we know is good, but just hasn't quite panned out yet this season. Yeah. Those are the kind of guys that maybe you kind of go after. You avoid like the Clyde Edwards-Helaire who is outperforming like crazy, but it's all touchdowns. And we saw last week when he doesn't score the touchdown, he is garbage.
He sucks.
He just doesn't touch the ball enough. So, let's see here. So Wizzy is followed up. What receivers do you think I could flip for Ramondre for? I already tried CD and got declined. Yeah, I would do that too.
Yeah.
Any smart league is going to realize that Ramondre has a this is the ceiling value for Ramondre after what he did last week, and that Harris is coming back, if not this week, maybe next week, if probably at worst the week after. So it's, short shelf life here. What could you get for him?
You might be able to get like a Mike Williams.
I wouldn't want, my thoughts on Mike Williams.
Yeah,
you might be able to get somebody like
maybe it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking to get value for upcoming, DK is a little down, but Gina's been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
I think that would be somebody you could target,
and he just came off a really horrible game, so maybe somebody frustrated with that. You could go after.
You could go after Amon. You could go after.
I wonder if you could get like a Chris Godwin if you think he could be, because that manager could be kind of frustrated with him. He's been hurt, but I think he's good. We know he's good when he's on the field. So that kind of thing. So, I would target guys like that. He should return that kind of value. Running backs are a premium at this point because the good ones are hard to get. So you're dangling a pretty decent piece in Ramondre Stevenson. You need to be able to get a decent receiver back. You need to at least get a back end receiver 1, high end receiver 2. In my opinion,
top end, and this pains me and will pain you, Joe, but maybe Amari Cooper.
I looked at that and was like, I can't say it, but you're right. You are right. The amount, the volume he's getting this year is just insane. And yes, he has his weeks. He does the Amari Cooper act where he just vanishes. But he's been more consistent this year so far than he has been any other year of his career. So I don't hate it. I don't love it either because we know. The guy that offered me Dylan has Amon-Ra. I was almost going to say that. Amon-Ra,
I was thinking that.
I like it. I just wonder, I think people are like,
Davis
if they're on Twitter, they love Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know what I mean? Because the Twitter machine is
that's the other thing to look at.
He's good.
He's already had his bye. So
if you can get Amon-Ra, he's above all the other players I mentioned in my book.
Yeah. That's the one thing that
got another one here from Clamp Easy, Jalen Waddle or Michael Pittman this week. Let me look at my ranks. So I'm just gonna give you half PPR because you did not tell me. It may not even matter actually.
I think I'd go
Waddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Waddle. Oh, yeah, it's Waddle.
He's freaking QB proof at this point.
It is full PPR. I still think it's Waddle. Going against Pittsburgh, that's a bad secondary. The amount of targets they get, both him and Hill, is just incredible. It's Waddle. My receivers I have starting are Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb. Do you only start 2? Because you're starting both of those over Waddle, but Waddle's your flex or your third. That's Damn. More questions. All right, we're gonna get back to the show eventually. Should I trade Breece Hall and Mike Evans for Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase? I have Godwin and Keenan Allen. Running backs are Dalvin, Najee, and Ramondre. Breece Hall and Mike Evans for no. With Najee and Ramondre as your running back 2, I say no. Keep Breece Hall. Mike Evans is going to be almost just as good, if not more consistent to Jamar Chase at this point. And Joe Mixon's been bad. So no, I don't do this deal. I don't think Jamar Chase is enough of an upgrade to go from Breece Hall to Joe Mixon at this point.
I don't either, because if Brady figures it out,
he will. Everybody's healthy now.
I mean,
at this point.
Evans is still a great option. I mean, hell, maybe you have Brady because you have Evans and Godwin.
All right, so we need to move on here. Try to catch back up with the time. So we are back on running back. So Najee Harris, as Domo here, just asked in the comment as for his running backs, right on cue. I don't think we can drop a Najee because he is still seeing a lot of work, but that offense sucks. It's the offensive line is bad. What do we do with Najee Harris? I mean, you can't trade him at this point. We just holding him and benching him and hoping and praying something figures it out. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I have him sadly too many places.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been good.
He is running back 23 on the season on a per game basis, 32.
Yeah,
not good. We drafted him as running back 8.
I'd be fine.
I'm sorry. Everybody.
I would just sell. On
fantasy
Harris.
Receipts come after my ass. I was touting Najee as a thing. I admit it. That one sucked. I mean,
right,
did they really come after you?
No,
well,
they should.
They should not.
I wouldn't be the only one with Najee though.
No, you wouldn't. And you know what? They can, if they look deep enough, they can find all of our Mike Davis takes from last year.
Dude, why are you doing that to me? Come on, dude.
You're not the only one. I was. I mean, half of the fantasy industry was
2 years ago.
It happens. It's about consistency and owning up to your mistakes, and then we do that.
Exactly.
Here.
I make fun of myself all the time.
We take accountability here. At least some of us
on those. So fantasy receipts can come out to me all they want. I've already called myself out, or you guys have.
I wasn't involved in that. I'm looking at things and then trying to figure out a trade partner for Najee.
No, there's nobody. So last one here, and this one's interesting, right? Just talked about it. Cam Akers, obviously, not playing for the Rams anymore, could get traded.
Yeah.
So do you hold him hoping he falls into a good situation, or are we just done with this dude?
This was the one that I was really focusing on. And I'm still torn. I think it depends on the depth that you have. If you can afford to sell him, if somebody's super high on thinking he's going to get to the best landing place ever, maybe not. But we both play in home leagues that have people that are interesting.
I also play in a home league that won't trade with me because I think I'm trying to screw them every time I trade with them.
You are. So I don't blame them.
I actually send really good trade offers to people that it's like, this will help you, this will help me. It's a win-win. Let's do this. And they're like, no.
But that never mind.
They're like, no, you know too much. And I'm like, well,
yeah. And it's like, correct. And you know nothing because I'm offering you a fair trade. So
exactly.
Take it. I
I think this one
Again,
to
like
me,
Stafford, I'm holding him for one more week because it's a bye week. He didn't play last week, so whatever. I mean, and smartly because they're trying to dump the guy at this point.
I think look, Akers, like if you're in a league where there's not a lot on the waiver wire, or obviously there's no trade candidates. If you can stash him, I think stash him. But if you are like being bit by the injury bug and the bye week bug, Akers is probably the first one to go. If Akers is on the bench, on your bench, and you just desperately need to pick up anybody to get a starting roster in, Cam Akers is dropped.
If your league allows you to put out players on your IR, which my home
is he
league
considered
does,
out though?
Yeah, he was.
Is he? Okay, I have not followed.
And that's the best part about the bye week. I don't think they've necessarily updated his status. Check your sites.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm thinking of. I have him in a couple of different sleeper leagues, and I still have him on my IR, and he's sitting there as out.
All right, so let's jump over here to receivers, and we'll try to rip through these a lot faster. So I started off here with DJ Moore. Obviously, the big struggles here. We know Baker's been hurt. Head coach is fired. So they might get Sam Darnold back in there right now as PJ Walker. Are you holding DJ Moore, hoping that things get better for him with, new coaching, kind of a new coaching staff? Maybe Sam Darnold comes back. I mean, DJ Moore was decent with Sam Darnold last year. Maybe.
I'll give him a short leash of 2 weeks max.
I think it's I think it's got to be like you're either cutting bait or trying to trade him now.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately we might have to wait like 2-3 weeks for Sam Darnold. That's the problem. We don't know when he's coming back.
Factors going into this. If sell, absolutely. I don't know if there's anybody that is, but yeah, at most, again, I would say 2 weeks max if you have enough depth. Otherwise, you're getting rid of them.
Terry McLaurin's the next one here. Hasn't really been the guy. Washington's offense has kind of struggled. Curtis Samuel's been the dude there. Jahan Dotson's caught some touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to cut Terry McLaurin, honestly. I'm looking at...
He's still high enough for me that I'm not cutting him outright.
I mean, he's
especially
second on the team in targets, but he's first in yards. He needs to catch some more touchdowns, but that's just...
that's fantasy. Like, if he's getting you consistent points,
he's not. I mean, his fantasy points per game are not good. We're looking 12, 10, 13, 2, 10, 6. It's not great. So, that's what we're looking at there for him.
Not even.
He's more of a hold for me, just because, honestly, at this point, the problem becomes if you don't, if you cut him, who you're replacing him with, right? And that's kind of sadly, it's the issue with a lot of these guys. Diontae Johnson, though, is one where I am 100% holding here. He is the target share for him is just incredible. It has dwindled over the last couple of weeks. It's been more of an even target share for that team with Claypool and Pickens, but Diontae Johnson still is getting just peppered with targets, and I like him to continue going here.
Yeah.
The next one is an interesting one, and again, we're going to pick on the Rams. Shocker. Allen Robinson.
Hashtag suck at Rams.
We're switching teams.
You're welcome.
Allen Robinson. I personally have not dropped him yet in any of the leagues, which is just about all of them that I drafted him in.
I
because I got
have either.
just riddled with bye weeks and injuries, and I had to start him, and thankfully he scored last week, but he still is just not getting it done.
He's not, but I think his success and Stafford's, hopeful return to success are hand in hand. Obviously, Kupp's getting his, but Stafford needs to be able to find Robinson. I mean, last week was his best week yet this season. Aside from week 1, he was decent. Not great,
he scored he scored in week 2. Week 1 was awful against Buffalo. Week 2 he scored.
Yeah, week 2.
But
Right.
He has pretty consistent targets, 5, 5, 6, 5, 6 outside of week 1. Right. But he's only caught 4, 2, 2, 3, and then last week 5 out of 6 scored last week.
But
you want to hear another telling stat, which is why I think I'm out on Robinson. Like if there's something decent out there and you don't desperately need Robinson like I do in a lot of my leagues, Ben Skowronek has the same number of targets, but more catches and more yards than Allen Robinson. He hasn't scored yet, but they both have 29 targets. Cooper Kupp has 72 targets through 6 games. What? This dude's going to have 212 targets.
Cut bait.
That's insane.
I'm going into all of my leagues where I own him and just dropping him at this point. No,
he's on pace for 204 targets. I sort of made up 212. 204. That is enormous. I don't know what to do with Robinson. He's hard to start. I've been forced to start him in a couple of leagues because of 5 weeks injuries.
Definitely hard to start.
He is on the chopping block for me for sure. A couple other guys here, we'll lump them together. Darnell Mooney and Elijah Moore. Now Mooney had a good game last week against Washington. Finally,
Moore did not have a game.
More targets. His highest yardage, I believe, of the season, but it's still just, I don't know. Chicago just doesn't pass the ball enough. Mooney's got all the talent in the world. It's just, I mean, he's another one of those, if you randomly find somebody good on the waiver wire, they got dropped accidentally and Mooney's your worst receiver, fine. He's not gonna consistently, in my opinion, get enough targets. And then Elijah Moore, this one's another interesting one, kind of like Cam Akers, right? So he just asked for a trade. He wants to get out because he's not getting used enough, and rightfully so. That he wants to trade. I mean, he should be used a lot more. He was so good last year. I have no idea what's going on there. The Jets aren't passing the ball. They almost turned into the Bears. They're passing the ball 12, 15, 17 times a game. It's nuts. So
Bears.
Are you cutting Elijah Moore, or are you going to hold out hoping that he finds a better landing spot? Because the Jets are saying they're not trading him.
I think I'm trading Elijah Moore straight up for Darnell Mooney at this point.
And
then cutting whoever still on my roster.
Because AJ for you.
I do like Moore.
I like the talent, just the usage isn't there. I think he's another one of those.
I mean, he was, I was seeing all the tweets about how he was positive about it, and it's like team first. It's pissing him off, but he's putting on a good show. So,
well, but he asked for a trade today.
Well, exactly. So
good show be damned. He wants out.
That was a good show before today.
Yeah. I think he's on the chopping block. I think he's one of those, if you need some upside, there's somebody who injury replacement player.
7 weeks.
I think more.
We're going into 7 weeks now.
Dude, he's wide receiver.
You got to drop him.
He's wide receiver 78 total on the season, 96
cut
per game.
Cut, dude.
It's just not worth holding on to. Mooney's 69 and 86. Allen Robinson's 58 and 72.
Oh,
So
definitely
like,
hold Robinson over him, but
yeah, I mean, I would hold,
if,
I would
if
hold.
2/3 of my receiving core is Robinson and Moore, hopefully
I
the
have,
other
dude.
third is not
I
Mooney.
legit have a team. Not shitting you here. I legit have a team that has DJ Moore, Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. I'm gonna give you one guess what my record is in that league.
Not good.
I mean, not good. It's an easy one. I
2-4.
believe that's the fantasy 6-pack league. And I believe I finally won my first game. I'm 1-5 and I beat Kevin.
Hashtag sucking Kevin.
Talk about a weird ass year.
What?
Me, Kevin, and Richard have won this league pretty much every year in its existence out of like 2. And they are both 0-6 and I'm 1-5. 2022 can just go suck itself, dude. Like, this year sucks. It's so weird.
I'm actually doing pretty well in that league. So
all right, so I
you're
don't
right.
really have any tight ends. The only one is Dalton Schultz, really. And
Yeah.
just wrap this one up here real quick. And really, this one's like people are, I think, hoping he's coming back from the injury. He's going to be good because tight end sucks. And you just like, if you can get anything, right? Dak's coming back. I'm out on Schultz, man. I don't really think he's going to get healthy enough to be worth a damn at this point.
Yeah. I think it's, I mean, you got
Go get anything.
Dak's
You're
gotta
going to
come
stream
back.
tight ends a little bit, but it, you know, it's
There's
unfortunate because
other
I
tight ends
liked
out
Schultz a lot this year. They gave him the
there. I did
contract,
too. Yeah.
but
that's all it takes.
the
You get the
PCL
contract
injury on
and
the
then
knee
you give
really
up.
kind of screwed him.
So,
But let's jump into our rankings talk. And so this is where you guys grill me on my rankings and start with quarterbacks. Let's try to get through this fast because we are running late.
So are you okay with Jimmy G as a streamer quarterback this week? I mean, you have him as QB 12 in your rankings, which is, only one spot above consensus, but explain your thoughts.
Explain yourself. Yeah, no, I like Jimmy G. I actually have picked him up in a couple of different spots here. Kansas City has allowed the third most points to quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And I know, the risk with Jimmy G, right, is that we know the 49ers game plan, right, is they want to be defensive and they want to run the ball. You're not going to be able to do that with Pat Mahomes in Kansas City. They're going to get behind. And what happened last week, right? Nobody expected it against Atlanta, but what happened last week? They got behind and they were forced to pass. And Jimmy G is a decent enough quarterback to make plays.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So yeah, I think that is a very very good streamer quarterback.
All right. Jared Goff, we've mentioned a couple times here on the show already. He's QB 7 on a points per game basis. In a week where you're missing Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins, I mean, you have Goff ranked at QB 18. Is he not worthy of
again, this is the opposite of Jimmy G. Better quarterback, right? I'm doing air quotes if nobody can, for those not watching. At least he has been this year for fantasy, right? Jared Goff has. Yeah. However, he's playing Dallas, and Dallas has been really good. That defense has got a ton of pressure this year. I just think we're going to get turnovers, sacks against Jared Goff. That offense is going to be limited this year. Dallas is allowing 12.5 points to quarterbacks. 26. They're ranked 26. So if you do the opposite, they're ranked 6th best against quarterbacks. So not something. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, 7. So it's just matchup.
Okay. All right. Running backs. You've got Nick Chubb here, 7 spots below the ECR of at RB11 against Baltimore. Now, Baltimore gives up the 6th most rushing yards in the league.
Yeah, but they don't give a lot of fantasy points up. They're
But what does Nick Chubb do the best in the NFL? Well, one of the
it.
best, if not the best, rush the ball.
I get it. And I believe you guys tried to call me out on Nick Chubb last week, and I think I was right. So
you guys talk. Was this the show I missed? No, wait, damn it. That was 2 weeks ago.
Nope. It was definitely you guys. I mean, look, I think it's another one of those, this is a tough matchup for them. You get division opponents. Baltimore's going to know how to play them. They know what they can do. So
that's true. That's true.
I expect a fairly low scoring game again. Maybe we'll get another Baltimore will get out by 15, 20, and then decide we're done and let Cleveland back into the game because that's what they've been doing all season long.
Pretty much status
which
quo.
Is insane. I have no idea how they've lost 3, almost 4 games, and they've been up deep into the game.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit this. I just looked up the stat for you. Quick little nugget here. The 2 games against Baltimore last year for Nick Chubb happened to be after and before their bye week, so it was 12 and 14, 4.9 and 8 half-point PPR points against those 2 in those weeks. So
bad.
This could be a good call.
Yeah,
it is a good call.
He doesn't have trophies for nothing, people.
Until fantasy receipts come for your ass.
For those of you who don't know what fantasy receipts is, you guys got to go check out this Twitter account. They like to call out people who make these like bold calls and like on Twitter, which is hilarious. And then they retweet the tweet.
Screenshot them.
I sort of hate it, but I sort of love it at the same time.
Well,
because it's like
entertainment.
It's entertainment, but like people hate it. But it's like, dude, own up to your shit. Like you're wrong. Like if anybody ever pretends they're 100% right, I say this all the time. If you pretend you're 100% right in this business,
you're an idiot.
You're an idiot. You are dead wrong, and you should not be followed by anybody. We are wrong a lot. You just hopefully are more right than you're wrong. But
the term expert is also very subjective.
I never call myself an expert. I'm an analyst.
Use it loosely.
I'm an analyst. If somebody else wants to call me an expert, they can. Fine, that's on them. Yeah. I will never call myself an expert. I'm an analyst.
I barely call myself an analyst. So
we're gonna start calling you an analyst.
I'm a guy on a podcast with another.
We do
guy
have a question
who's
here, and I feel bad. I think it's been sitting here for a few minutes.
Dick.
From Jareed, who should I pick up for my bench? Elijah Mitchell, Latavius Murray, or Kenyon Drake? Oh man, if you got an IR spot, it's easily Mitchell. Mitchell's probably gone for a couple of weeks. If you're desperate for running back help now, it's Murray.
Yeah.
If you can wait, it's Mitchell. I'm still unsure with really what Drake's role is. It's all based on Dobbins' health at this point.
He's been too inconsistent because of Dobbins' health issues.
And when Dobbins is out, like if Justice Hill is healthy,
Justice
Hill's backfield.
Yeah.
And then Gus Edwards is back probably, and if not this week, next week probably. So it's kind of like I don't really care about Drake as much. It's Latavius Murray is like the immediate, and then if you can stash Mitchell, you stash Mitchell.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Already,
all right. So next running back question, we have Jeff Wilson. Been on quite a run as a starting running back for the Niners, but in a possible high-scoring game against the Chiefs, you don't think that he's better than RB22?
I don't.
Concession has him.
I think it's game script
or above.
Again, it's game script. I like Jimmy G, and I like the receivers more because I think they're going to get behind, and they're not going to be able to ground a pound like they like to do. We saw it last week against Atlanta. Once they got behind, Jeff Wilson only saw 7 rushing attempts. He doesn't get used in the passing game.
No.
He saw 1 target last week. He saw, a sprinkle of targets the rest of the season. So when it's a negative game script for the 49ers, the run game is out. And so that's exactly why I am lower on Jeff Wilson than I am the rest of the consensus rankers.
All right. Cool.
Question before the receivers here from Brock. Sup, fellas? Pick a side, full PPR, Godwin or Jacoby Myers or Michael Pittman? If you need depth, I'll take Godwin. I do like Pittman. Pittman, I think, is a slightly safer each week than Godwin, just because of target share. Jacoby Myers, he's sort of banged up right now, but we know he just gets peppered with targets in New England, even though they're not like awesome. He's not going to rack up like 150 yards off of them, but he gets a ton of targets.
Getting
so
the full
nice,
PPR where it counts.
So yeah, I can dig the Godwin Jacoby side if you need depth.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I love Pittman, but Matt Ryan just hasn't been great this year at all.
Yeah, I mean,
but
PPR finishes for Pittman have been 5. Then he was hurt. 27, 58, 37, and then 0-5 again. So it's up and down. Godwin hasn't really been there either, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think
67
term,
hurt 28, 29, 21. So he's got some room to go, but since he's been back from injury, he's seen 10 targets, 6 targets, 12 targets. So like it's coming. It's coming for him. I know it is.
Yeah.
So
and you're getting Jacoby, who's probably the most consistent receiver in New England.
He's got a lot of receivers here. Receivers are Waddle, Godwin, Hopkins, DJ Moore. Wow. Sounds like my team. DJ Moore and Mooney, Dobbs and Gallup. Wow. I would wait. So that means you've also got Jacoby somewhere because you've got Godwin. You didn't list him here. Holy cow. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 receivers. Oof. Man, I wish you could give up anybody, but could you do like Godwin and like Mooney for Pittman? I hate to give up Godwin or I hate to give up Jacoby because Jacoby is like just good. My opinion, he's slightly more consistent than Mooney and DJ Moore at this point. Yeah. So but you have D-Hop also. I don't mind the upgrade to Pittman. Giving up Jacoby might be just too much with Godwin.
I would. I mean, I feel like Godwin, Pittman are close. They're pretty close when they're at peak. So,
all right, let's move over to our receiver questions here for the rankings.
All right. So, I mean, I just simply put it down. Robert Woods +6 ECR. Why? He sucked this year. Let me add that in.
What are we talking about here? Wide receiver 30.
Yeah, it's
not. I mean, not great territory. Indy is actually really good against receivers, so I get it. It's just one of those the targets should be there for him with no Treylon Burks right now. True. They don't have anybody else to throw the ball to, so he's got to get everything.
He got Austin Hooper.
I mean, look, he could finish 30. He could finish.
Who's behind Jeff Swaim?
I mean, it's just one of those. I don't honestly. This is one where I don't really have a good explanation for. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. This is just one of those this is how the projections and the the matchup kind of look and fell for everybody. I mean, let's put it this way: some of the guys he's ahead of are all the guys that we've talked about, right? Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney. He's ahead of Rondale Moore, who's doing nothing tonight. So I'm already winning that one. Hopefully, it's just he's just
Greg
ahead
Dortch
of some,
has more than Moore.
he's just ahead of some dudes. Do you think the wide receiver 1 for the Tennessee Titans going against Indy could perform better than those guys? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, probably. But
It's splitting hairs when you get that far down in the rankings. It really
Yeah.
is. You're talking fractions of points that make the separation at that point.
I guess. All right.
Sorry.
Next
Going to this
up,
a while.
you've got Mr. T. Higgins at wide receiver 7 for this week, which is now 6 spots above the consensus. Again, I mean, is this due to the buys? Is it more the juicy matchup? Are we looking at
Got one.
something?
Juicy matchup, 100%. I love
Hopkins.
this matchup. Atlanta performed well last week, shockingly, but
Yeah.
I don't think anybody expects that to happen again. Cincy has been rolling on offense. Joe Burrow has been crushing it lately. T. Higgins is 1 week removed from that dreaded I'm healthy and I'm active, but I'm not going to play it down business that
I
pissed
feel
everybody
great.
off.
But
Yeah.
no, I don't want to play.
No, we're good. So it's he's a week removed, and last week
Not
against New
ready to
Orleans,
play.
by the way, he saw 9 targets. So at some
Pretty
point,
sure
like
it's
it's
big.
coming for him. He's been good on a per game basis. I just closed that spreadsheet I had up with all those stats, but
Oh, I was
on a
like,
per game basis, he's been pretty good. So I think he can easily outperform where the consensus has him.
yeah. Okay.
And,
Per game, he's ranked 20.
Yeah. He's had a couple of dud games. I mean, he really has. Week 1, kind of the entire offense was blah.
And the decoy game.
Yeah, so I actually removed the decoy game. Oh, whatever you're looking up might not have done that. So in my rankings, I removed the decoy game when he was.
I
sitting
see
on
how
the
it
sidelines
is. You
for
get
three.
get the true information, and we get what you want us to see.
I got
Well,
the expert
that's-
shit.
are you looking
even
at the
though
spreadsheet?
I'm not an expert. I'm
Yes,
an
I.
analyst.
Oh,
I'm
so
looking
that's
at
already
the,
removed.
Spreadsheet. Okay, yeah, it's 20 per game.
Okay. Yeah. So, and then he had kind of a dud game against the Jets, although he still caught 5 for
That's
93, but he finishes
Joe,
wide receiver
D.
33 for some reason, which is kind of weird. That's full PPR 31 when it came to half. I mean, I just like T. Higgins. I really just like this offense, and the 1-2 punch of him and Jamar Chase is just crazy good. So, gimme.
Joe is tweaked like a tiger with T. Higgins.
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned it, but yeah, the Falcons do allow 33.7 half-point PPR points to wide receivers per game.
I did not mention it because that was your stat, so I wanted you to come in and do it.
Appreciate
And
that, bud.
There you do.
All right.
I like to drop nuggets of information.
Tight
here.
ends.
The only thing I'll say here with tight ends is be wary of Dalton Schultz, even if he's on the field. Cade Otton's kind of a
Yeah, he
crazy
was
sleeper
the
this
one
week
I was
because
kinda like,
what's his name is probably out. Brait is probably
Yeah,
out. So
Brait.
Cade Otton could, if you're desperate, I know a lot of people this week are down, because
Higbee's
Goddard
out.
and
Out.
Knox
Knox
and
has been
Higbee, and then Waller's
Smith.
hurt.
Irv Smith.
Yeah, Irv Smith has even been decent. So there's a lot of tight ends that have been useful that are out this week. So people are desperate. Hunter Henry's a guy that I kind of like a little more. I don't like him more than consensus. I'm kind of right there with it, but he's streamable
Very
range at this
mad.
point.
Very
Yeah,
mad about Hunter Henry.
maybe you didn't get Joe's boy Taysom Hill on the waiver wire. Yeah, you can go get yourself.
Mm,
Who scored?
Yes.
Put him in
score?
tight end 8 this week.
Oh yeah. I had Bellinger in. I mean, you have him 3 lower than ECR.
I just can't with him. I
Again,
know
this
he's been
matchup
decent. He's
is
scored twice in a row. That's kind of all it is with him.
yeah.
And
I mean,
with Wandale now back, and then he's gonna have to score a touchdown. I mean, fine. If you really want to use Bellinger, knock yourself out. Again, like when you get past the top like 5 tight ends, maybe even only the top 2, Andrews, Kelsey this week. Andrews, Kelsey, I guess Kittle. Assuming it's a negative game script for them, Kelsey's in play again. If it's not, then Kelsey's going to block a million times. Ertz, Njoku's a thing. Hawk is sort of iffy, honestly. I mean, outside of that monster week he hasn't been really that good this year.
Yeah.
After that, it's all this. Who do you think is going to score? Just I had to pick up Hunter Henry in the league that I have Goddard because it was like, well, at least Henry's been seeing 4, 5, and 7 targets with Zappy in there.
Finally.
That's all I can hope for. So
exactly. Of course, I dropped him when he was doing 0. And now that they've had a quarterback change, it makes sense that he'd be much better.
Of course.
For the waiver wire than my team.
Finish off
Okay,
here.
Speaking of my
do you want to do the quarterbacks
broken
and then
heart.
I will do running backs and how do you want to do this?
Sure. Yeah. Let's just leave it as this.
Guys.
All right. Quarterbacks. Dak Prescott looking like he's gonna play. He's actually, I believe he's off the injury report. So that thumb is good. He's practicing. He looks like he's back in.
Pulled it right out.
No more Cooper Rush. I gotta believe that this is a big boost for everybody in that offense, especially CeeDee Lamb, and hopefully Gallup can really get things going here.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's really hoping for. Baker Mayfield, limited practice with that knee injury. I'm not really expecting him to play. I've got PJ Walker in my rankings right now, but I'll make the swap pretty quick. But honestly, it doesn't affect anybody. It doesn't affect, like DJ Moore doesn't get a boost if Baker comes back in. So don't even ask that question because it's not happening. If anything, it might actually be worse. Russell Wilson with a hamstring, limited practice. They're actually saying it might be pretty bad. So keep an eye out for that one.
He finally balls out in 1 quarter of a game, and look at him now. He's injured.
Yeah. Mac Jones with that high ankle sprain, limited practice. I'm not expecting him to play either. So we're going to get another Bailey Zappi hour. Carson Wentz is out for at least a few weeks with a finger injury. I believe Eno Benjamin scored a touchdown. There we go.
He did. And that's what I was talking about all those minutes ago.
All right.
Okay, running backs. Speaking of, J.K. Dobbins did not practice. He is dealing with a knee issue still. Keep an eye on his sitch. DeAndre Swift dealing with the shoulder, was a limited practice. So keep an eye on that. Hoping that he will play. Jonathan Taylor, we already talked about, will play. His battery mate, Nyheim Hines, is dealing with a concussion. And then Saquon Barkley is, Nyheim was a full practice. Saquon is dealing with a shoulder as well as Swift. Limited practice. I don't know. Maybe they were doing.
I think he's going to play. They're just. He doesn't
things.
really need to practice at this point. So
no, he does not. Receivers
is a long list, so I'll try to go fast. Rashad Bateman, foot, limited practice. Jamar Chase dealing with a hip injury, limited practice.
Rapid fire.
Yeah, Josh Reynolds and DJ Shark both did not practice today. Sammy Watkins, this is interesting. I kind of didn't think he was returning this year, but
I just want to toot my horn. I definitely told you this. It was the short-term IR. I remember you telling me you thought it was long-term IR.
I don't know why. Why it was in my head that it was
thought
like he was done for the
back.
year. But anyway, he's
because
he's expected to return. It says on I use the CBS.
Just the IR is his home. He likes to hang out there for most of the season.
But I think that's interesting because we all like Romeo Dobbs. So if Watkins comes back, how much effect does this have on Dobbs? That's kind of the question that, at least Watkins is like, I mean, he is a professional receiver. Like that's desperately what Aaron Rodgers needs.
Dobbs now though, because he's in the NFL and it is a professional league.
But you know what I mean by that.
Footballers.
Christian Watson didn't practice.
Sammy Watkins is a professional. Hamstring. 3 out of 16, now 17 weeks.
Marvin Jones hamstring, limited practice. Hunter Renfrow, this is a bad one. Hip injury, didn't practice today, and it was added to the injury list today. So that's never a good sign. Keenan Allen, hamstring, limited practice. Please come back. You are on way too many of my teams to keep sitting out because of a freaking hamstring injury. It's torn in half, go get surgery and just be done so I can cut your ass.
The best was
play.
On our Slack. I don't remember which channel, but it was like, wait, Brian Robinson got shot and is back already before Keenan Allen.
Mike that said that, actually.
It's like,
wasn't that you, LaPlant?
Sounds about right.
What'd you say?
Oh my gosh, never mind. I'm not listening to us.
I'm watching a Thursday night game.
Jalen Waddle, shoulder, limited practice. Nelson Aguilar, hamstring, did not practice. Kadarius
I'm over here rooting for Olave.
Tyler Lockett, hamstring, didn't practice. And Jahan Dotson, hamstring, limited practice. Not expecting Dotson to play, or Tony. So finish things off here with tight ends. We've got some really interesting names, which could make even more interesting lineup decisions.
Mark Andrew.
Holy cow.
There's only one of them now. Mark Andrews did not practice with a knee issue. Hayden Hurst, former teammate of Mark Andrews, groin, limited practice. I mean, what did he get? Shot? He's already coming back? I mean, come on. Darren Waller did not practice, hamstring. Joe has Foster Moreau 12 spots ahead of the ECR because of this Waller issue. That could easily change.
I don't really love it either. He hasn't really done a whole lot.
No, anyway,
I actually have him 14 spots ahead, but it's still tight end 22. So plenty better options out there.
All right, we got Pat Freiermuth. Concussion was a full practice. We've got Cam Brate we just talked about. Neck did not practice. And we've got Logan Thomas still dealing with his calf issue. Did not practice. Probably won't play, but that's just my opinion. So I'm going to yell.
Yeah, most likely not. So
I'll be ready.
All right, guys, that is it for the show. Again, I kind of said it over top of AJ because it was like, what? I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention, but 42 points for the Cardinals. Holy smokes. This is a crazy game. So inverse score 42, Saints 24. So there we go. Fun. We got some points on Thursday night for once. Still not a very good game though.
Wow.
All right, that is it for this week. Again, sign up for those subscriptions, hit us up on Discord, check out all those rankings, and good luck in week 7.
Wow. All right.
Peace out.
I like it.